In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to roll out a pie crust. I have dough that was previously made and has been chilled for approximately 4 hours. I'm going to take a little bit of flour, and when I chilled this, instead of wrapping it in a bowl, I flattened it out a little bit, and I kind of made it a little bit on the rounder side. This way I don't have to, what I want to stay away from is kneading the dough back up, because I want to be able to keep these nice pockets of fat and dough, which are going to cause or create the flakiness. So I'm going to just kind of make it into a circle, a little bit of flour, okay, and with my pie, I'm going to start rolling it out. And as I roll it, I can start to see that I can see the butter in here, and it's looking really nice, or the shortening. I'm going to put a little bit of flour as I go. When I roll out, I'm constantly making sure this is not stuck to the board. If it sticks to the board, we end up scraping it, it doesn't come out right, and it doesn't really roll properly. So as I roll, you can see it's still starting to staying in the round. Kind of go out from the middle, and you kind of turn it. I often find myself, I just turn the dough. It kind of gives me, so I know that it's not sticking. The goal here is to roll your dough into a circle, and it should be bigger than your pie shell. I feel that it's starting to stick a little bit on my pin. So again, there's not an excess amount of flour, just enough flour so that it doesn't stick. And because the dough is cold, it makes it a lot easier to work with. If I find an area that is squaring off, I just kind of move my rolling pin with it. And then you want to roll your dough about 1/8 of an inch thick. Okay, you want it nice and thin so that it bakes properly and it is nice and flaky. Okay, so now I have a nice circle of dough. I have my pie tin, and what I like to do is I'll put the pie tin here, and I want to make sure that I cut at least an inch, inch and a half around, so it gives me enough dough to sink down into the pie. I think I want to go just a little bit bigger on this. Okay. A cardboard circle that's very large also helps, because then you can actually trace the whole thing. But I'm going to just take my paring knife, I'm going to go around the edge. And now I have my dough, and there are 2 different ways that you can actually put the dough in a pie pan. You can fold it in half. Some people even do it in quarters, so you could do it like that. And then you would place it in, and open. Or you can also, as you're rolling, roll, take your pin. I'm not really rolling it tight on here. I'm just using my pin, and then I'm rolling it into the shell here. Okay, so now I have it on here. It's still very, very cold, very, very nice. What I don't want to do is hold this and press this and stretch this, because if I stretch the end, when it goes to bake, the whole pie shell is going to shrink. So instead, I want to take the dough, and you want to feed the dough into the little crevice on the pie shell or pie tin. So I'll do it this way so you can maybe see it. So instead of pushing it with my fingers, I'm actually maneuvering the dough down in, and you can actually start seeing the edge of the pan. And that way we know it's not going to shrink on us. Okay. So once I get that nice in there, you can see that edge looks really, really nice. Now there's a whole bunch of different ways to flute a pie. You could just trim it, do a little fork edge. If you cut it nice and even, you can also fold this edge under, and it's going to be even because I cut an even circle. I could fold it under, and I would do this if it was just a single crust pie. Just fold it under, fold it under. At this point, if you ended up with a spot that was a little light, you could add one of the little scraps from before. So now I have it all in here. And then I like to just go back, kind of make sure it looks really, really nice. I may have a little extra dough kind of hanging out. So what I've done is I've kind of built up more of a little ledge here. And this will be for fluting a crust. This is just a basic flute, a real simple, easy. I'm going to take my index finger and my thumb, and I'm actually pinching. And I pinch, and I just keep moving the pan as I go. I like to keep putting my fingers right back in the flour, and then I'm just pinching and pinching. And as I pinch, I roll, or I twist the pan. Put one in there. I would brush all this extra flour off before I bake it. And now you have a nice pie shell. It's fitted in here really nice. It's 1/8 of an inch thick. It looks really good. Before I bake this, I want to pop it into the cooler for at least 20 minutes. You can even take a pie shell frozen and go right from the freezer into the oven. That's my preferred method. I think it shrinks the least. Okay, so that is how you roll a pie shell and properly put it into a pie